hosts, Steve and Alex.
All right, and welcome to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here live exclusively on the New Visions Radio Network. And of course, I've got, I think, Alex. What's going on, buddy?
No, it's just a figment of your imagination.
A figment? You mean the past, how many years? It's been a figment. I've been talking to myself. No wonder nobody listens.
That's right.
I'm just kidding. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good.
So what's new and exciting?
Nothing.
Of course.
What could possibly new and exciting in my life?
Well, at least you spruced it up a little bit, right?
Well,
At least you spruced it up.
that's right. I made it sound exciting, even though it's nothing.
Yeah. Well, hey, you got to do that. I know tonight. You know you've got the season finale of Walking Dead. Screw the zombies. Tune in. I mean, like, it's not like you can't like PPVR it, or record it or whatever else, or watch it on your Android box. Like, how many people have Android boxes? I know. Like, do you have one, Alex?
I will be getting one soon, yes.
You will be getting one soon, man. You're so behind the times. No, I'm just kidding.
I am. Well, hey, what are you going to do? Sometimes it takes me a while to get caught up with new technology.
Just in time for the ruling to go through that they can't sell them anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to pass that ruling.
Oh, they already did.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to enforce.
Well, I know it's going to be extremely hard to enforce. But of course, you got the big companies up here in Canada, of course, Bell and Rogers and all that kind of crap, crying over spilt milk.
Yeah, because they're losing people like crazy.
Well, if you dropped your, the cost for cable, then you wouldn't have.
You're expecting them to be to actually use their brains. Common sense.
Yeah, but it's also common sense for them to like lay down the law, right? I mean, sure. Nothing's free. Unfortunately, it's scary, but that's just the way it is. But you know what? Screw you.
Yeah. That's right. Screw you.
Yes. The uprise has begun. Cable. Screw you. No, we've got a new Facebook page for those who haven't converted over. We are going to start using. Well, we've already started using our new page. It's easier to communicate with everybody and promote the show and our guests and stuff like that. Once again, it's easy to get to, facebook.com/Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Easy.
Yeah.
And again, you can find it in the search box. It's the page, not the group. The group we're going to slowly weed out, and eventually just close down. But for now, if you haven't converted, come over to the new page, because it's easier. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I kind of like it. I mean, it's going to take. It
gives you stats, which is good.
Yeah.
The group didn't give you stats on how many people viewed it, how many people viewed a particular post. It was just one of those, whatever. Like, at least this way we have an idea of what to target.
Yeah. Well, not only that. I mean, it makes it easier for you to communicate with us in terms of sending us an email, for instance. I mean, we don't have to keep typing in the email. You just go there and blank right there. It's send email.
Correct. Yeah.
It's got all the necessary information there. It's a lot easier to navigate. Well, I don't know. It's pretty much the same in terms of navigation, but whatever. It's Facebook.
Right, but I mean, for us, it's a bit easier on some fronts.
Yeah.
Even just to pull stuff, and like I said, just to keep tabs on what hits the masses better, I guess, for lack of a better term. Like if particular topics are better received by certain people than others, and at least you know what to focus on.
Exactly. Tonight we have our good friend Keith Age, the rock and roll ghost hunter, who will be joining us right after break here. So it'll be great to catch up with Keith because he's busy. He's got a lot going on, and we'll have a lot going on. So we'll get caught up with all that. and more. Obviously, it's always an interesting conversation with Keith on. So, looking forward to having him back on. Last week, I'm still blown away though by everything that was just thrown out there. It was just Matt Landman was just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
If you didn't catch that show, again, you can find it on our archives at www.newvisionsradio.com. And they've been rebroadcast through the week, obviously. So if you want to catch it, not live but rebroadcast, you can check the schedule there to find out when they will be rebroadcasting it through the week. If you want to follow us, you can do so at Dark Discussions on Twitter, obviously. And again, our new Facebook page is www.facebook.com/Nocturnal Frequency Radio. I got to get used to that.
Actually, isn't that the /?
Is it a /? I don't know.
It's a slash anyway. The normal slash.
It's the normal slash. Just slash it, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
Slash it.
Slash it. So that's
Slasher.
Exactly, and of course, the BBM group. How's that? Just pretty much the same.
It's gone up to 1273.
1273.
Yeah, 1273 subscribers. So it's not too bad.
That is. And you know what? Follow us. I mean, we've been trying to be a little bit more active on Twitter. I don't know. I'm not much of a Twitter person. I mean, we're there at Dark Discussion. So if you're on Twitter and want to keep up with we do our best to keep up with the.
But even just to get a hold of us, like a quick way to get a hold of us, because both Steve and I can access that Twitter account. So I mean, if you need to ask any questions or have any suggestions as far as what you would like to hear, then just hit us up on Twitter and we'll be able to respond.
Exactly. So you can do so by doing that again on Twitter at Dark Discussions. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to having Keith on. I was going to throw something out there, but you know what? It's going to wait until, I guess, later on in the show. We'll throw that out later on. Yeah, sure. We'll do that. Anyways, we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we're going to have our good friend Keith Age. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio exclusively on the New Visions Radio Network.
Beyond, the television series that redefines the paranormal. Academic, scientific, and medical opinions that, combined with expert testimony, provide new insight into 48 phenomena that challenge the frontiers of human understanding. The Beyond series was originally broadcast on television in Canada and the USA. Now the series is available throughout the world on Hulu, Amazon, and TV Tibi. In Canada, it can be seen through Amazon On Demand. Come with us and take a step into the unknown lands that lie beyond. More information at beyondtheseries.com.
On Thursday, October 6th, at the Burlington, Chicago, and Friday, October 7th, at the Feed Arts Center in Kankakee, Illinois. An incredible musical and historical event is taking place based on psychoacoustics, industrial music, and electronic voice phenomena. This will include the first ever U.S. performance of Addie Newton's The Anti-Group, the electronic experimentation of Michael Boyd, and the debut of a new project by Michael Esposito, EVP specialist, and Addie Newton's called Matar. Based on EVP from Paris's underground catacombs, the standing stones of southern England, and ley lines across Europe and the world. If you have interest in industrial music, psychoacoustic research, for electronic voice phenomena or experimental music, this is something you don't want to miss. Thursday, October 6th at the Burlington in Chicago. Friday, October 7th at the Feed Arts Center in Kankakee, Illinois. There'll be a special, limited edition flexi record with previously unpublished recordings by all three performers available at both shows.
The devil showed him all the kingdoms of the world and said, "All this I will give you, if you will bow down and worship me."
There was no pearly gate. The only reason I knew I was in a cave was because I had just passed the entrance. The rock wall rose behind me with no ceiling in sight. I knew this was it. This was what religion talked about, what man feared. I had just entered the gate to hell. I felt the presence of the cave as if it was a living, breathing creature. The stench of rotten flesh overwhelmed me. Then there was the voice. It came from inside and all around. "Welcome." "Who are you?" I asked, trying to keep my composure. "You know," the thing answered. I did know. "You are the devil," I stuttered, quickly losing my composure. "Why me? I've lived as good as I could." The silence took over the space as my words died out. It seemed like an hour went by before the response came. "What did you expect?" The voice was penetrating, but patient. "I don't know. I never believed any of this," I uttered. "Is that why I am here?" Silence. I continued. "They say the greatest trick you ever pulled was convincing the world you don't exist." "No, the greatest trick I ever pulled was convincing the world that there is an alternative." "There is no God?" I shivered. The cave trembled with the words. "I am God."
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens due to the crisis that is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments. At this hour, we repeat, these are the facts as we know them. There is an epidemic of mass murder being committed by a virtual army of unidentified assassins. The murders are taking place in villages and cities and rural homes and suburbs with no apparent pattern nor reason for the slayings. It seems to be a sudden general explosion of mass homicide.
And welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, here live exclusively on the New Visions Radio Network. I mean, how long's it been? It's been, I don't know, 3 years now, Alex? Since we've been on New Visions?
This would be the third year, yes.
Wow. Time flies. Time flies. It's amazing, talking with Ray today. It's just amazing how much the network has grown.
Oh, I know.
From when we first started off, being one of the first shows.
That's right.
On the network to now. It's just amazing the amount of people that have tuned into the network as a whole. It's just mind blowing. So obviously looking to the future there and more. So, but anyways, you know, I don't want to waste any more time. We've got a you know, an old friend with us. He's been on the show a few times, and Mr. Keith Age, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's like, you know, pull up a chair. The table we've got the Jack ready. Well, sort of.
Where's the Jack Daniels, man?
I got some downstairs. I'll go get it now.
What? I thought you already had it. What's going on here, man?
Doesn't mean I can't have any more.
Times, brother. I haven't times. Don't have an Android box. Now you done on Jack Daniels? What's wrong with you?
Hey, I'm trying to catch up here.
Yeah.
You got a lot of catching up with us two old timers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it, Keith. What have you been up to? I mean, you know, you're busy. You've been busy, and you know, obviously, you've got Mid-South coming up. We'll get into that, but it's been a while since you've been on, so I know a lot's been going on. Just, I guess, for the listeners, what's been going on?
Well, just getting ready to start next week. We're going to start filming a new TV series, and on tour with me and Robbie Thomas, and the filming is going to be going on while we're on tour, so it's a little bit different. And that's been taking up a lot of time because my production company and Crimson Night production company both are taking the reins on this thing. So just getting all that ready and to go has just been crazy. So having all that going, plus schedule all over the place, to be all over the place, and different conventions, cons and stuff, and conferences. Yeah, it's been pretty wild.
Well, yeah, it seems like pretty much every weekend you've got some sort of convention or whatever else going on.
Yeah, between now and Christmas, pretty much.
Well, yeah. Now, can you sort of talk a little bit about this show that you're shooting, or is it still under cloak?
Well, it's still under cloak, but I can talk a little bit about it. Like I said, it's something that really hasn't been done before, and it's going to involve me, like I said, me and Robbie Thomas from your part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, these different places that we're going to be at part of our tour is all part of the show. And also the people who come to these events are going to be part of the show. So, you know, that's an interesting place to be at. Next week we'll be at the Rhodes Hotel in Indiana, which is one of my favorite places to go to if you have never been to it. It's, you know, set up where you have a bed and breakfast, and you can stay there all night. One of the coolest things I ever got was I heard somebody walk right past me while I was still getting my gear together, and next thing I know, the little child's rocking chair right in front of me started rocking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I actually caught it on film, so that was pretty cool. And then later on, when trying to sleep a little bit in the madam's room, and we're the only ones left in the house, and the doorknob starts turning on its own, and then you hear a laugh, just a disembodied laugh, and turned on the digital recorder, put it on the floor next to the bed, and sure enough, about an hour later, it did it again. So when we caught that on film, on audio, so it's a really cool place. It's really active. We're hoping to be able to catch some good stuff while we're there. And then the following weekend, I'll be at Ashmore Estates,
which is very familiar, yeah, in Illinois there, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's where we filmed part of The Possessed and Children of the Grave 2, and so it is a favorite place to go to also too. So it's great. Plus James Florida will be with us as a guest, and James makes a lot of the gear and equipment that I use, and he's bringing something new that him and I designed, and we're going to be trying it out for the first time there, so that's going to be pretty cool.
That's got to be fun, though, eh? Like, I mean, having people build some equipment that they, geared towards investigating. It must be pretty cool to like bring something new into the fold, and it's like a kid with a new toy, right?
Oh yeah. Well, the cool thing with James is, it's two investigators creating equipment that's geared and made for investigators.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows, 90% of the stuff that we use was built for something else. And even though this was built for something else, he has got a temperature gauge and EMF unit that I've never seen such an instantaneous temperature gauge.
Mm.
You can touch this thing and it just starts reacting.
Oh, wow.
Which is great. And, I'm not much on K2 meters and that kind of stuff because, they're just pieces of crap.
Mm.
You're basically buying something from TV. And,
well, you don't like putting your EMF meter beside the K2 with your digital recorder beside it, and it's not like they're intermingling with each other, right? Oh, I've got a ghost.
Yeah, no. Instead of spending $79 to $150 for a K2 meter, go to any hardware store and buy an ELF meter for $10.
Yeah.
Same thing, just three less lights. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And that's something I've always preached. Know what you're buying, know how it works, know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I've seen people get up and spend $4,000 or $5,000 because they want to do this and do that. And I'm like going, look, just buy a cheap little camera, little 10 megapixel camera. Alien Buff 10 is pretty cool. Not like it used to be.
Mm.
And if you like photography, then there you go. Start working with that. If you like audio, buy a little cheap Sony or Olympus handheld digital recorder that'll record for 2 hours, for like $50, and put a decent. You get Sony, you can buy little microphones that will snap right in, and for $10, and you've got something good, And then when you just say, well, you want something more, then go buy a Tascam digital recorder or something, Same way with I like thermal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go buy the $50,000 unit first. You're going to sell your house. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Buy a used one first. For a couple $100,
or you can even
start off with an Android.
Well, you can rent them even, right?
Yeah, you can rent them now.
Yeah.
You get an attachment for your Android for $120. Same way with your iPhone.
Wow. There you go, Alex.
Yep. I'm gonna have to do that.
You might get more lucky with having that attached to your phone. Or wait, no. Yeah. Well, you have yours is what, Android based?
That's right.
Yeah. So Keith, you having the music back. I don't think we've ever talked about this when you've been on the show. You've got the music background. I mean, you're still playing and everything else. What got you into the paranormal? I don't think we've ever asked you that or got into it.
I was on the road when I was 16 years old, playing arena rock. And this is back in the 70s. And late 70s, early 80s, and met this girl who would never take me home to meet Mom and Dad. And my world at that point was all music and rock and roll.
Yeah.
And, didn't think a thing about ghosts or nothing. Well, finally, I got to go meet her parents on her birthday and got to go to the house, and she finally said, the reason why she didn't want me to come over is because they have a ghost in the house and it doesn't like her boyfriends. Well, I was like, yeah, right, sure, I bet, So we sat on this couch in this little ranch house, and you could see down the hallway, and you could see this mirror, and we could see our reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something kept breaking that reflection. Well, I go down there and check it out. There's nobody there. Of course, she's saying, "Oh, it's the ghost." I'm like, "No, it can't be." And there's nobody in the room, And I'm trying to figure this out, so I start calling this thing out, being young, dumb, and stupid. And at the end of the night, I went to kiss her goodbye inside the living room at the front door, And as I bent over to kiss her, something got a hold of my left arm. And at first thing I thought it was a great dad got a hold of me. You know, and
get out of here! Leave my daughter alone.
Yeah, yeah. I got hair down to my butt, and full beard and everything else. I looked like the rock and roller of the '80s. Yeah. And next thing I know, I went flying backwards through the front door, through the screen door, and I landed about 8 feet out in the front yard.
Oh wow!
And I remember laying there, just going, "Wow, what's broke? What's working? What's not?" Trying to catch my breath. And then thought, that was so cool. Do it again.
So you didn't have that, what am I, maybe I shouldn't get involved with this girl. No, that's cool, man.
No, I was, it was a violent encounter, but I was hooked. And I had a bruise, a handprint on my left arm, my left forearm. Mm. It was just a handprint. It was huge. It went from my wrist to my elbow, and I was like, wow. So something, whatever was going to hold me. And like I said, I've been hooked ever since.
So did you ever, later on, were you able to, go in and investigate or find out what exactly that particular...
Oh, yeah. I kind of became like the adopted son. Me and her quit seeing each other, and I still consider her a, good close friend.
Yeah.
And we still love the family and everything, but as best we could figure out, that was the first house built in the subdivision, and by the contractor. Mm-hmm. And him and his wife lived in that house, and she died in that house of cancer. And he never got to build the house that he wanted to for her. And then he ended up blowing his brains out.
Oh wow!
While he still built the subdivision and everything, but he killed himself in the house, and that's who we just always felt like, that's probably who it is.
It's insane, man. I mean, Alex is sitting there going, how come you get to have all these cool, and I'm not having any?
That's right. Nothing ever happens.
Hey.
No, we call him the ghost deterrent.
Well, hey, man, you can go to 40 different places at 40 different times and not catch nothing.
Yeah,
but when you get that one time when you get true paranormal activity, you're hooked.
So okay, from that point to say when you, because I mean a lot of people might remember you when you started doing stuff at Waverly. Mm-hmm. How did that sort of like come into play? Getting started at Waverly and then
Waverly was always the place to go to from the 80s on.
Yeah.
It was a local haunted place, and it was off limits basically, and a lot of tales turned up about it and everything. And then when it was bought by the new owners in 2000, I just went and talked to them, said, look, we'll help you clean up the place, and and as long as we can investigate. And that turned into giving tours, and for 5 years that's what I did. We helped clean it up, and me and my guys gave a lot of tours and brought out a lot of evidence from the first 5 years it was open, 2000, 2005.
And
of course, in 2003 and 2004 is when the Booth brothers came up there and started shooting Death Tunnel.
Yeah.
And Death Tunnel spooked, and then Spooked hit the airwaves and it just exploded.
Yeah. And at one point, I remember, I'm pretty much, I remember, you were hit with a brick, were you not?
Well, people call it bricks, but what it is the walls are made out of cement. They're not really plaster.
Okay.
And they're made with cement and plaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I got hit several times with a chunk from the walls. And there were some walls where they were just crumbling and fall apart and stuff. And I was given a tour the first time, and went to the hydrotherapy room, and we're standing there talking, and it was just like machine gun fire. All this debris flying at me from the floor. I'm busting my head open.
Wow.
And another time, I said, giving tours, they get great aim. And the very last time was my very last day there in 2005 on Halloween. and we were on national news with Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
It was daylight. We come out of this stairwell, me and the reporter, and walked in where they got the camera set up. We're standing there talking, and on film, live, you see this chunk of plaster and cement come flying from behind the wall behind me, and just hit me in the back of the head and took me off my feet.
Now, what was the name that? Because I remember years ago seeing the video that you were. This was obviously before Spook came out, but you had some sort of video or a little documentary on Waverly again. Did you not? I remember.
Actually, Spook was the first documentary.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. What you were talking about is Chris Stevens from MTV's Fear.
Okay.
Came out and shot a little thing.
Yeah.
She was. If for those that don't know, Fear was like one of the first paranormal shows out there.
Uh-huh.
It was on MTV, and she was the lead investigator. And Chris is a great person, still is. You know, she's over in Germany now.
Mm-hmm.
But she came out with another guy and shot that. They showed it on MTV. Yeah.
And yeah, I remember.
I've done about 40 different TV shows. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember that. I remember, you doing a walk through Waverly and just talking about the different areas and what's happened and the backstory with Waverly.
Yeah, it was also on Fox's World's Scariest Places too.
Yeah. And I'm like, I remember that was like, wow, man, I had to go there. I mean, I didn't care. I had to go there. I just, just for the hell of it, I had to check it out. And obviously, we finally went out, and I think it was 2007. 2007 when we finally. And I was just in awe with the enormous how big it was. It was just incredibly huge.
Well, yeah, it's a huge hulking building.
Yeah, like help me describe what it's like inside there to Alex, and the listeners. I mean, Alex, you've obviously never been there. You've seen Waverly, right?
Yeah, I've seen pictures of Waverly. Yeah,
but I mean, I remember walking through there, Keith, in the dark by myself, and people were like, "Oh, you won't do that. You won't." I'm like, "I'll do it." And I remember walking through there, and I just remember it was, peaceful, but yet you knew that there was stuff going on around you. Constantly.
Doors and slam and everything else. But then again, there were other nights when you'd be there and nothing was happening and just be dead as a doornail. But there were some wild times, and I remember when we were filming for Creepy Canada.
Yeah, I remember that.
We actually got Big Black on film for the first time in the Creeper.
Yeah.
And, and Big, for those that don't know, Big Black is just it starts out as something small, and then it just fills up the entire hallway and just comes rushing at you. It's black, so that's why I call it Big Black.
Yeah.
And we also had ceilings fall on us and everything else. This is a 800-room hotel, if you will. It was a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And the hallways are long. It was built in a batwing design, and every room on the southeast side opened up to the foyer, the fresh air. Or the atrium where they wheeled everybody out every day to get fresh air. And when you walk through the hallway, though, on your right side, those are where the patients who didn't have a chance, they went into those rooms and usually didn't come out. But it did a lot of good. But it's just a huge building, and you've got the death tunnel,
yeah,
which is 485 feet down, 485 feet up. And that's where they put the dead bodies on a conveyor belt. But people think that's exactly what that was used for, but originally it was built to bring supplies up to the hospital from Dixie Highway, right off the railroad. And, that's also where the workers, they would walk up the tunnel in the wintertime. It was nice and warm and steam fed, and, and it went straight through the hospital.
I remember standing on the roof, the roof there, and I think it was probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was August, so I think it was maybe like 104, it had to be at least 109 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
It was just incredibly hot, and just being in there, it was like an oven. It was just crazy, but what a great view from the top! I'll tell you that.
You could see clear all the way over into Indiana from the top of that thing.
Yeah,
and you can actually see the horseshoe. It's Trump owned now. The horseshoe. Crap, what do you call it? Casino or everything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so, you can see it clear as a day, and that's 70 miles away.
I know, it's incredible. What about some other locations that you like? I mean, obviously most people will remember, through seeing a lot of the Booth Brother documentaries, Spook Children and all that kind of stuff. But what are some of your favorite locations that you personally like?
Post Town in Ohio, I love it. Not just because of what happens there, but Daryl and Brenda Wispin are just great people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a second home to me. Whispers Estate in Mitchell, Indiana is great. Matter of fact, we're going to be going there in October filming for this, our new show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be checking out the Bel Air House also in October.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been there, but I'm told it's really good.
Yeah.
And they just did a thing. Nick Croft did a thing on Paranormal Lockdown with it. So hopefully we'll get that out of it. Pinhurst to Love. There's a lot of them,
Yeah, so many. Besides doing the conventions and all that kind of stuff, do you find yourself able to still, really investigate?
A little bit. Not as much as I'd like to. Between that and, and then my production company and everything else, it's just hard to find the time to do everything I want. Plus I've got a group that, they go out and do stuff too, so, I've got to keep all that going too.
Yeah, and which is Louisville Ghost Hunters, right?
Right. Yep, Louisville Ghost Hunter Society.
Yeah, and that's been going since when?
1996.
Jesus. And that's what you call establishment. And how the group is like what kind of, I guess, because you're like really busy, you have your thing, but you still have sort of a foothold in there, but it's pretty much run by people that you pretty much brought into the fold. Or
it's run by me.
Oh, it's completely run by you. Oh, wow, man.
I am still the president. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, I've got a vice president and a case manager, and they do take some of the load, but everything else falls on me.
Wow, that's a I got to commend you, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I mean, how many people are involved with the group?
Well, nationally, we have over 4,000 members.
Jesus.
And locally, we've got about 50.
Wow. And I suppose, the local have been there for quite a while. Most of them.
some of them have.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the nature of the game.
Exactly.
A lot of people come and go.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's been times when I've had to take a break from it, too.
Yeah.
And, you know, but it just, you know, if the passion is still there, you know, great. If not, you know, they go find something else to do. And then, plus with all the stuff that I do, I try to keep the group involved. That's why the group still does the Mid-South with me. And, you know, I introduce them to different people. You know, I get accused a lot of times of saying, everybody says, oh, you know a lot of people. I'm like, oh, well, I do. It's because, you know, I've been around a while.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. You know, that's another thing. It irks me a lot of times is, you know, you hear these people, I've been doing this 25, 30 years. And I'm like, oh, really? Where were you? I've never heard of you until about 5 years ago. Me and about 4 others are the only ones you can actually go check our pedigree, you know, and see that, yeah, we were doing stuff back in the 80s and stuff like that. So, you know, there's just too many in the field that they want to just, you know, they're in it for the wrong reason.
Well, yeah, you get that quite often. I don't know how many times I've come across that. It's just, I see no point in it, but, that's, again, it comes with the field, right?
Comes with territory, yeah. Next to me, you want to be rich or famous, and this is the wrong field for that.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's been, I don't know, it's been exploited every which way but Sunday when it comes to the paranormal, when it comes to the TV, whatever, movies, you name it. I mean, there's just been, I mean, what more can they take from this? I mean, there are certain angles, like you said, you're ramping up to shoot something that's a little different. I mean, there are different angles that people can take there, but I mean, when you look at some of these shows, it's really tough now.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you know, there a lot of these different ones. They're just accepting pretty much anything, throwing it on the wall, see what sticks, and a lot of it's garbage. A lot of it's just strictly for entertainment too.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because I remember doing a TV show. I think it was back in 2009, I believe it was. And I remember when they cast the agent, a friend of mine who approached me about doing the show, and I said, nah, I don't know. And then I thought about it, and I go, you know what? It would actually be kind of fun to do. And, I mean, that turned out to be a show that was called Healthy Gourmet. And the catch was, it's a food intervention thing, and they wanted to bring in a paranormal group and have sort of an intervention. And I'm like, well, investigating a haunted location. And I'm like, what's the location? You know, sell me the location. And the location was, Alex, I don't know if you're not too familiar with it, the Brockmore Inn in Niagara Falls on the lake.
I've heard of it, but I haven't actually been there.
I've heard of it. That's about it.
Oh, yeah. Really, really cool place, Keith. Incredible place. Anyhow, when they told me about the location, I'm like, yeah, what the hell? I don't care. This is gonna be fun. It's I want the gang to have fun. Let's do it. And you know what? It turned out pretty good. People go, why did you do that? I'm not looking to make money. It's not about making money. It's just about being creative. It's about, getting a chance to go into a location, and actually, because we were able to investigate the location as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So, I mean,
that's the whole point. You and I have had this discussion a lot, several times. I can remember.
Yeah.
And just some of these people they want to do it because like I said, they want to be famous.
Yeah.
There is no real investigating going on anymore. It's, I've seen this on TV and this is how they do it. well, go step beyond the box, try to figure out what's going on. It's like, for the last couple of years, I've noticed people send me, interesting pictures and stuff, and I go, what do you think? And I'm like, well, first of all, I wasn't there, so, I need to look at the place by myself and see what I think. Mm-hmm. And then I asked them, I said, well, what'd you do next? And they said, I took it to such and such production company so we can try to be on TV. I'm like, really? Really? And it's like we get up there and go, ghosts have feelings too. And I'm like going, huh?
Yeah.
Well, how do you know this? And they're like going, oh no, we got to keep the spiritual side. And I'm like, screw that. I want to catch it and put it in a bottle,
Yeah.
And they're going, well, we know this and we know that. And I'm like, you don't know crap.
Yeah.
Period. Nothing has been proven. This is pseudoscience. Mm-hmm. It's nothing more than a faith-based hobby right now.
Yeah.
And until we can make, that one scientific discovery that says, this is this, who knows? It might not be ghosts. It might be some little green men on some far-off planet going, hey, watch this.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I've kept my view of what possibly might be going on beyond the whole deceased loved ones or whatever else. I mean, that's a possibility, but the thing is it the exact possibility? Is it the only possibility? No. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it could be anything. But
I've been doing this a long time, and I have yet to still see a full-body apparition or a ghost walk up to me and go, hi, my name is Bob. So wait for that. I've had things bounced off my head. I've been thrown downstairs, through walls, through doors. And these are, phenomena that we just can't explain. But, the whole thing is to try to. Then people go, well, you should be a science. I'm like, look, I'm doing this as scientifically as I can, as I know how. Mm. But, I don't have a PhD behind my name.
No.
And there's only a few out there that I can say do have that. But, if you want to get the real people who need to be all the scientists and all that, then you've got to stop with all the idiocy and the backbite and all that crap going on, and, present it in a way that they are understanding it and they can get behind it. And then, and only then, will it become a true science.
Yeah.
When you get the real scientists involved. But up until then, we're just basically data takers. And, and again, this is my view. This is not your view or anybody else's. These are my views. So if you send hate mail, send it to me, because I really don't care.
What, Alex, whatever you do not mention orbs. Oh, wait. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's a whole different... You've known me for a long time. Yes,
you know how I feel about orbs.
I know how you feel.
You were actually there the night I got stabbed over an orb.
Yeah.
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 So,
yeah.
And
yeah. I
know. That is the closest thing that science has proven is most of quote orb shots, 99.9%. can be recreated.
Exactly.
If you can recreate it, it is not supernatural in nature. And everybody goes, well, mine's got a face in it. I'm like, well, then, you know what? It's called a nucleus. And it's a water or something else, But I'm telling you, when they go, oh, well, mine talk to me. I'm like, well, you better up your meds then.
Yeah. Well, I remember, and I won't say the name, obviously, but I remember going on a ghost walk just for kicks. And I remember going on a ghost walk, and there was one particular location that they stopped off. And it was this old church. And the woman who was a part of the ghost walk, she was like, aim your camera towards the chapel on the top and take a picture. I guarantee you'll get an orb. And there's a light up there, okay? There's a light up on the chapel just underneath the cross. And I'm like, okay. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I know. I know the gig, whatever. So I take a picture and I'm acting all, oh, look I've got an orb, man, I got an orb, right? So I'm telling everybody else in the group, take a picture here, you're going to get an orb, and of course, sure as shit that, they're getting orbs and they're all getting all excited and everything else. And she's like, yeah, that's so-and-so. There was a name for the orb and, there was a whole history behind that orb and, it's just amazing. Just amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's just like the quote psychics, I've been called anti-psychic, and I'm not anti-psychic, I'm anti-idiot. And, when you get someone putting their hand over their eyes and going, ooh, waving their other hand and all that, you know what you do to people like that?
I'm waiting.
You just shoot them. You just shoot them.
Well, yeah, you and I both, as psychic dumb as they come, right?
Oh, I'm psychic as a brick, man. Everything that's been thrown in my head, like I've said before, if I was psychic, I would have ducked.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not anti-psychic. Some of my best friends are psychics. Robbie Thomas, Rick Hayes, Chris Fleming, Scotty Rourke. These guys I've known for years. And, it just, I don't investigate that way because I can't quantify what they're feeling. When we shot, I had Bill Chappell hook up a lot of biometric equipment to him that I designed to Rick Hayes. And it reacted completely to what Rick was saying, when he was feeling stuff. And he was catching stuff that he did not know about. He had no way of finding out. But he was giving stuff out to us that we were like, well, okay, this is pretty interesting. Like I said, it's the ones that go ooga booga and, anything goes bump in the night as a ghost. Like I said, you just shoot them.
Yeah. It's, I believe, there are some people that might have some, and, like you, I've worked with a few that, that sort of, I don't know, kind of verify, if you will, a closeness to it, but there's just too many charlatans out there. Way too many.
Too many Miss Cleos.
Yes, exactly. We're going to come up. We are coming up to the halfway mark. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, let's chat about the upcoming Mid-South and more, Keith.
Sounds good.
All right, so folks, don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Nocturnal Frequency Radio here, live exclusively on the New Visions Radio Network. We're here with our good friend Keith Age. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more coming up, so hold tight. We'll be right back.
On Thursday, October 6th, at the Burlington, Chicago, and Friday, October 7th, at the Feed Arts Center in Kankakee, Illinois, an incredible musical and historical event is taking place based on psychoacoustics, industrial music, and electronic voice phenomena. This will include the first ever U.S. performance of Addie Newton's The Anti-Group, the electronic experimentation of Michael Boyd, and the debut of a new project by Michael Esposito, EVP specialist, and Addie Newton's called Matar. Based on EVP from Paris's underground catacombs, the standing stones of southern England, and ley lines across Europe and the world. If you have interest in industrial music, psychoacoustic research, or electronic voice phenomena, or experimental music, this is something you don't want to miss. Thursday, October 6th at the Burlington in Chicago, Friday, October 7th at the Feed Arts Center in Kankakee, Illinois. There'll be a special, limited edition flexi record with previously unpublished recordings by all three performers available at both shows.
They say high school is supposed to be the best 4 years of your life.
Before going to Port Robinson Road, I would have been one of those guys that you told me that you were going on a ghost hunt. I wouldn't necessarily laugh at you, but I would think to myself, yeah, that's a waste of time. You know, there's really no point in going.
Port Robinson Road is not a horror film, and it shouldn't be confused with the mainstream Hollywood horror films of today. It's a mystery, thriller, drama, and I don't think it's anything that's ever been done before, at least not in this way. And I think it's vital to the paranormal world that a film like this takes itself seriously. I don't think there are too many films of this nature that take themselves too seriously, and this one does. At least I'm taking it very seriously, and that is why I think it's about time that something like this was brought to the forefront.
Visit PortRobinsonRoad.com for more information on the feature paranormal film in development.
But going to Port Robinson Road really just took my eyes and peeled them right open and said, you know what? There's the possibility for this to be out there.
You are listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Montini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
Southern Ontario Paranormal Society has been investigating and researching the claims of the paranormal since 2005, taking a scientific look but never neglecting the spiritual. We are a non-profit and we will travel most of Southern Ontario and many parts of the United States. Contact us at support@sopsinvestigations.com or visit our website at www.sopsinvestigations.com. And welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, here live exclusively on the New Visions Radio Network. And again, if you're just tuning in, we have our good friend, the rock and roll ghost hunter, Keith Age. And, you know, I'm sure, Keith, you've been asked that a million times. Where did you get that title from? Where did the rock and roll? And I'm going, I know, but for those who don't know, where did you get the rock and roll ghost hunter from?
Well, you know, like I said, I've been playing out since I was 12 years old, and professionally. And actually, Troy Taylor started calling me that about 30 years ago, and then Jason Hawes picked up on it, and then it started sticking as he started calling me the rock and roll ghost hunter.
Well, it's got a ring to it, obviously. And hey, when most people go, hey, do you know what's that guy named the rock and roll ghost hunter? Oh, you mean Keith Age? Yeah, I know Keith. Yeah, that's a cool moniker. And you obviously, there's a lot of people that have those out there, but obviously that's one of the more well known. But you know, we're going to talk about the Mid-South here in a sec.
Sure.
You know, we saw the end of, I guess, one of the TV shows that sort of, you know, got the ball rolling, if you will. Ghost Hunters.
Oh yeah.
And you know, what do you think? I mean, its contribution to everything. You know, of course we know the entertainment value of Ghost Hunters, but as a whole, what do you think its contribution has been to everything in the, I guess, if you will, the paranormal community, if you will?
Well, in all honesty, you know, I hear a lot of bad rap that they get.
Yeah.
But, you know, Grant and Jason, you know, almost everybody out there who is, quote, on TV or has become a ghost hunter is because of them.
Exactly.
You know, because they basically kicked the door open. They came out in 2004, and at that point I'd been on maybe 10 or 15 different shows, because it was sporadic, but that thing was such a hit. And then we came out the following year with Spooks, and that was such a hit, as everybody was just hungry for it. And, say what you will about it. Like I said, they kicked the door open, and, them and Pilgrim Entertainment. And, you can say what you want, it's just like there are some TV shows I refuse to watch. And, that's everybody's opinion. And that's exactly what it is. It's an opinion. And I think that if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have had this big movement that we've had for the last 15 years. Granted, it's been, 10 years that they were on. Mm-hmm. But, I think they had a lot to do with it. And people should, basically say thank you.
Yeah, and again, like you mentioned, you've been obviously a big part of it as well. I mean, with Spooked and Children, like your experience with the films that you did with Chris and Phil Booth. I guess talk a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, well, as we make 10 movies for Sci-Fi, and but then I've also done stuff for Destination America. Mm-hmm. And as a space TV, you're down underland where you live, and and I've done things for French TV and a bunch of this. I've been in almost 40 different TV shows, and the big boom. I've seen it come and go over the years, mm-hmm. But never as big as it's been the last 15.
Do you think it's hit its peak and it's sort of just sliding down?
Oh, yeah. You said it a minute ago. Some of these TV shows that are on now are just crap, and that's and the audience is dwindling because people want something new, something different. Until we can get up there and find, like I said, that one denominator that as to what this is, real true evidence, and when the TV shows go away, the people who are in it for the right reasons will still be in it. But it's the thrill seekers and the fame seekers, they're the ones that'll be gone.
And we as a society, we've come so accustomed to, not only these shows, but, like real life as well, with news and all that kind of stuff. What do you think, Keith, that, perhaps a show comes along and, it's not about the entertainment, but actually showing you footage that they claim is real. And, I think most people now would probably go, whatever, it's staged, but these people are actually bringing what they claim is actual footage. I mean, what would it take to get people to believe this? I mean, for the masses, I'm sure a lot of people will believe it, but you're going to have those naysayers going, no, come on, it's a TV show, it's staged or whatever else. I mean,
for thousands of years, people believed the Earth was flat.
Yeah. Until
it was proven, and that's what it's going to take now is something to prove that. Okay, this is a quote ghost. It just. That's why when people go, they have feelings, and you got to have the spiritual side. I'm like, no, we need to get something proven, and you can't prove a spiritual being. That's like saying, prove there is a God, or prove that Jesus lives. They can prove that there was a man named Jesus through historical records. Now, whether he was the Son of God or not, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Because you constantly see footage on a daily basis coming from somewhere, from some other country or wherever, And, you know, you watch this footage and you go, wow, I mean, if this was only real, you know? Because, I mean, there's so much, obviously, that's been staged or, you know, it's a part of some TV movie that was shot in the Philippines or something, you know? But, you know, there's probably that hidden, you know, that one piece of footage that is real, but it's overlooked because everyone thinks it's a part of the, you know, the rest of the group. It's generic. It's faked, you know?
Oh yeah, I agree. And like I said, you know, it's going to take something phenomenal for us to actually capture like lightning in the bottle. You know, when you capture it, that's when people are going to say, "Oh, okay, wow."
Yes, and you know, I've had some, you know, experiences myself, and you know, I sit there and go, okay, well, what was it? I mean, you know, you try to recreate it, you can't recreate it. It's, you know, you ask people and they tell you, well, it just doesn't sound normal, or, you know, they give you some sort of rationale, and but they can't tell you exactly what it was. So I mean, yeah, you know, something's going on. What it is, we don't know. There's just
yeah, it's just like Bigfoot. You know, years ago, you know, I was one of the first people to have an actual FLIR, and there was a quote famous Bigfoot group that had me on their radio show and asked me if I wanted to go Bigfoot hunting with them. I said sure, but they just wanted me to bring the FLIR.
Yeah.
And they said, what are you going to bring? So I said, well, you know, I'll bring the FLIR and I'll bring some recorders. And I said, then I'll also bring a 30-06.
Yeah.
And they're like, what would you bring that for? I said, well, I'm not going out in the middle of the woods unprotected, number one.
Exactly.
I said, number two, you're telling me this thing's attacking people, throwing rocks and, you know, trees and everything else at them. And they said, you'd actually shoot, you know, an endangered species? And I'm like going, well, first of all, you got to prove to me that it is a species. In fact, no one's done that yet. And I said, can you think of a better way if I blew its head off and dragged its carcass out to where we could study it?
Yeah.
Well, they hung up on it, you know. I made them mad. I'm like, you know, that's the only way people are going to believe there is an actual Bigfoot is if one is found. And you capture it and you study it. Same way with the ghost stuff. You know, we can show, you know, doors closing all the time. That's just like, I don't believe my house is haunted, but I had, my dog died in July. We had to put her down.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, just sitting here, my door will open to my room. Like the dog always opened the door up. She could open the door with her head. The door will just swing open. It doesn't do it all the time. But, you know, I can't explain that. There's no drafts in here. There's no vacuum. And the only time it usually does is when I'm sitting here eating something in this room, which is what she would do. She would follow me in here, and she'd open the door with her head and come here and sit down in front of me until I gave her something. You know, does that mean the house was haunted by my dog? I don't know. Does that mean something residual? It could be. But again, I can't see it. This is what happens. You know, is it fake? No, I'm telling you it's not fake, but, you know, you can believe me or not. And that goes right back to what you're saying, you know. But, you know, I can't prove it, even if I put it on video, which I have done on video. And, you know, the door opening by itself, and you can clearly see there's nobody on the other side of it. And, you know, but you can't explain it. It's not rational. There's nothing scientific to it. You know, the door didn't do that when she was alive, except for when she came into the door. But it's doing it now.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially the first week or so after she was put down,
mm-hmm.
the door constantly did it for like a week. And I'll never forget, my girlfriend was over here, and she loved the dog too. And we're sitting here talking, and all of a sudden the door just opens. And she's like, did that door just open? I'm like, yeah. She's okay, I'm ready to go. You know, enough is enough here. This is crazy. It shouldn't be doing that. So, you know, until we can actually capture it, that's the only way people are going to say, yeah, it's for real or no, it's fake.
Alex, have you ever had an animal that perhaps passed away and you've had some sort of residual or some sort of, I don't know.
I've had pets in the past, yeah, but nothing residual on my end. Mind you, I mean, I had to put my dog down when we moved from Manitoba to Toronto. So if anything would have happened, it would have happened over there.
Yeah, I mean, I had a cat. I don't know. Did you ever meet Goblin?
Yeah, I met Goblin.
You know, Keith,
psycho cat.
Yeah, Keith, this cat was psychotic, man. And I remember one time I got home from work and it was about 2:00 in the morning, and it was just me and the cat. My girlfriend at the time, she was working, and I remember coming home, and I remember, sitting on the computer and just aimlessly, surfing the net, just looking at all sorts of stuff, porn. I had to throw it in there because I knew it was going to come, but no
pun intended.
Yeah, because all the lights were off, so. And all the curtains were drawn or whatever. It was dark except for whatever light was coming from the screen, the computer screen. And I'm sitting there, and the cat's lying in the lobby way beside me off to the right, and just passed out, whatever. And then all of a sudden there was this huge burst of light, flash of light, whatever, burst of energy. I don't know what it was, but it was bright. And the reason why I knew it wasn't something that a figment of my imagination was the cat was up on all fours staring right above where this thing happened. The cat was flipped right out. It's trying to make sense of what just happened, just like I was. I'm like, what the hell, man? I mean, I'm checking the light. The light was off. The bulb didn't break or anything like that. There wasn't a surge because everything was fine on electrical note or whatever. There was no explanation for it, but I knew something happened because the cat was there and had witnessed it. But this cat was just something else. But I know, I hear you, Keith. I mean, there's times when it first passed away, there was things that were going on that made you think that, well, hey, he's still here with us. Something's going on. Something routine, residual was just there happening. Crazy. So, but okay, well let's move on. You've got Mid-South coming up. Let's get into that.
Okay.
First of all, I guess just let everyone know. I guess the basic aspects of when, where, how, what's going on.
All right. The Mid-South Paranormal Convention is July 21st through July 23rd in Louisville, Kentucky. This is our 16th year of having it. This is our biggest convention we've had. This is the biggest and the oldest convention in the United States, and it is a paranormal convention. It's not a horror show. It is for paranormal people, by paranormal people. And we like to have a good time, and people can get different views on different subjects and everything else. And to start off with, we have the Mountain Gypsies, who are mountain healers. They'll be there. Brian J. Cano from Haunted Collector. Brink Stevens. I don't know if you guys remember her or not, but she was the scream queen of the 80s.
Yep.
Brink and I have known each other for a long, long time. I took her and Eli Wallach and a couple other people up to Waverly Hills in the early 2000s. She's been into the paranormal since then. Matter of fact, she just narrated several paranormal books. Then we have Chip Coffey.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Chip Coffey.
Yeah.
One of the premier psychics in the country. And then we have Santiago Cirilo. And people are going, well, who's that? Never heard of him. Well, he is actually from a lot of different TV shows and movies. He's an actor. And most people have seen him in The Walking Dead. When the governor and everything was on there, he was like the governor's right-hand man. And he is also an avid ghost hunter. As a matter of fact, just bought a farm in Tennessee that's haunted, and wants to come down and check it out. Then we have Christopher Quarantino. And do you recognize that name?
It sounds familiar, yes.
Okay, well, you might know him better as Christopher Lutz.
Oh, yes. Yes, okay.
He is the son of Kathy Lutz, who lived through the Amityville Horror.
Yep.
He'll be there.
Was it his documentary? Did he just finish off?
He's been on several documentaries. But, you know, if you want to know about the Amityville Horror, here's a kid to ask. He was there. You know, he lived those 28 days there.
Well, who was behind My Amityville? It was called My Amityville. It was one of the kids.
It could have been his sister.
Okay, all right. I don't know. One of them, anyhow. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. And you got Jeffrey Lieber.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Jeffrey.
Christopher St. Booth, Rachel Booth, be there.
Yeah.
Kristen Lee from the Bel Air House. Rick Hayes, who I mentioned earlier. Chris Stedman.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Rourke. Scott Tepperman and Tim O'Rear. My buddy Bill Bean.
Bill.
Robbie Thomas.
You know, I still haven't met Bill. We've talked, but you know, the only time I had the chance, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it, was the Can-Am. It was too bad. But sorry, go ahead.
And then we got April Slaughter, Paul Bradford from Ghost Hunters International.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I remember having several conversations with Paul before he went on the GHI, but what an incredible guy, and the equipment the guy makes too.
Oh yeah. And then we got Annie Liebel and Sam Henderson from Cops Paranormal. Sarah Soderlund, they call her Paranormal Sarah. She's fantastic. Very, very book smart and very knowledgeable about the paranormal. If you ever get a chance to listen to Sarah or talk to her, sit down and talk to her. James Florida, like I said, James makes a lot of my gear that I use.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Maggard, who I've known for years. Eric Glosser from Ohio, going to be there. Then you have Selena and April Rome.
Mm-hmm.
BJ Hodges, Scotty Roberts, who I've known for years.
Yeah.
Finally going to make it.
I know BJ too. BJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
BJ's cool.
Yeah.
And BJ are real good friends.
Yeah, BJ's cool.
I want to live an hour away from each other. We got to be.
Well, she's where in Frankfurt, isn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Jody Cook, great cryptozoologist.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Snyder, Tina Hicks Lano, Jackie Mossberg, Bishop James Long, Jason Gowan, Willie Windwalker Gibson, Scott Gerhardt, the Foreman Brothers, Living Dead Paranormal, Sasha Clenat, Lori Johnson, James Anito. That's just a few.
Yeah, I know you've got a whole whackload.
Oh yeah, and then we have on Saturday night, Jim O'Rear and Scott Tepperman will be showing their new movie that they've just made.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also got Masterson is a Las Vegas quality magic show, husband and wife team, and they're going to be giving a show also on Saturday night. But Friday night is the kickoff party, And you have, last time we had over 600 people show up just for the kickoff party. And Chris Tedman will be DJing it, and then the Orb Tones will take the stage at 9 p.m. And for those that don't know who the Orb Tones are, about 7 years ago, I came up with this idea of, let's have a band play.
Yeah.
Well, the band started out with just me and Bill Bean. Bill Bean can shred a guitar.
Yeah.
And drummer from my band played, and Ron Cundiff sang, and that was it. And we called ourselves the Orb Stones. And what was funny was people were going, "Oh, yeah, I've heard of them." And so we made up this whole backstory about how the Orb Tones were playing over in Europe and all this other stuff. And people were just ate it up. And then when it came time for us to play, all of a sudden, we did it as a joke.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we're like, "Hey, wait a minute. This is sounding pretty good." And, so we've been playing ever since. So this year, Ron will be back to play. Paul Nevitt has been playing with us the last couple of years on keyboards, and so has Sean Burton playing drums. And this year, James Fleury is going to be joining us, as well as Janet Morris. She's going to be singing, and also Sarah Soderlund. So it's just a big party on Friday night, kickoff party, and everybody comes to have fun. Now, with all those people that we've mentioned, how much do you think it costs for the whole weekend?
And I know it's dirt cheap. Come on, I know. You don't have to tell me. I know.
Again, I want people to come and have fun.
Yeah.
I've seen too many of these things. Come and spend one night with 4 or 5 people for $129.
Yep.
Well, you could spend all weekend with all these people and me and everybody else for $65,
which is well worth it. I mean, it's 3 nights, right? Obviously, it's 3 nights. Well, 3
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hotel is a great hotel.
Mm-hmm.
The Ramada Convention Center, 600-room hotel, and we usually sell it out. Their rooms are usually $129 for a night. They've dropped them down to $79.95 for us. So we try to keep it cheap and affordable for everybody. And like I said, there are still plenty more people who are coming that I haven't read off here, but it's huge. It's not a horror show; it is a paranormal convention.
Alex, we need to get the portable equipment and broadcast live.
Sure.
But only if Keith allows us to.
Hey, it only costs $125 for a table.
I wish I already told you. I wish I could go.
Well, then why are you teasing me bringing down the portable equipment?
I'm just saying it'd be great. It'd be awesome. But unfortunately, I'll be away on that week. That whole week, which kind of sucks, but
send out.
Yeah, a correspondent. Alex, do you want to broadcast for us?
I'm the correspondent.
Hey, there you go. Live on the scene. This is
I'll remote in.
Remote in. You'll remote in. Folks, how could you go wrong? I mean, for $65 for 3 days. And all these guests, including the guy that's hosting it. Well, the whole group, and of course Keith hosting it. Come on. And where can they, Keith? Where do they go for tickets and information and all that?
www.LouisvilleGHS.com.
And you know what? You're guaranteed to have a good time because, I mean, you've been doing this, like you said, 16 years, right?
Yep.
It's not like, you're just getting this off the ground and you don't know what you're doing. all these guests that you've been able to gather and put together for 3 days in one place. I mean, come on, they obviously know that, hey, like you said, it's the oldest of its kind in America, in the U.S. I mean, a lot of people on there I know. I mean, like Brian Cano. I mean, I remember Brian when, he was in Scared.
Oh, so do I.
Down at the Shanley Hotel. Did you ever have a chance to go there, Keith?
No, never made it to the Shanley.
Oh man, it's too bad. Too bad. Sal is gone now. It's too bad. What a nice guy that guy was. Sal was.
I've talked to Sal several times before he passed on.
Yeah,
and he was a super nice guy.
He was an amazing guy. I went to the Shanley twice, and just I didn't even it was great to investigate, but I think the best part was just sitting there and talking with Sal. I mean, I go, Sal, you don't mind if I record, because I want to sort of put like an audio thing together with you and maybe have it on one of the shows, sort of thing. And he's like, oh no, go ahead. And just sitting there for a couple hours, just shooting the shit with him. He's just incredible. He was incredible.
I agree, man. He was a good guy.
Yeah, not to mention the place. I mean, the Shanley Hotel. I mean, I believe it's his son. I believe his son is still running it, right?
I don't know who's running it now. It's such a weird, convoluted thing with that.
Yeah, I think it's his son still has a hand in it or something, but it's still up and running. And I mean, people, if you're looking for a good place and you're in the it's not upper state New York. It's I think it's only about an hour or two north of New York City.
Yeah,
I know it took us about 9 hours to drive down there, something like that. So it's closer to you guys than it does us. But you know what? Awesome place to check out.
It takes me about 9 hours too.
What to get to the Shanley?
Yeah,
about halfway. You know what? I'll never forget when we drove down there, Keith, down to hook up with BJ for Waverly, but I remember driving home. We left Waverly. I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it was. We finally left, and we said, "Screw it, we're just gonna drive all the way home." And GPS. Oh yeah, 9.5 hours. 10 hours, no problem. Yeah, okay. But they didn't take into consideration all the construction that was going on, because I mean, most of the 75 was down to one lane. Once you got by Cincinnati, forget it. Between Cincinnati, Toledo, it was like, forget it. It was like, I don't know, insane. But I'll never forget walking into just before we got to the Ohio border there. We stopped in at a Waffle House, and it's funny because up here in Canada you got the Tim Hortons, and I know you've heard about Tim Hortons before, right, Keith?
Oh yeah, I've ate Tim Hortons plenty of times.
And I mean the slang is when you order a coffee, most people just say double, and that's it, right? And one of the guys, we go into this Waffle House. And we're sitting down. We're hungry as hell. We're getting a bite to eat, and the waitress comes over. She goes, "What can I get you all?" Right? And the one guy in the group, he's like, "I'll have a double," and she's staring at him, and he's like, and I'm like, this isn't Tim Hortons, man. I don't think she knows what you're talking about. You got to tell her you want 2 cream, 2 sugar, whatever, right? It was just hilarious. I don't know. I just had to get that in there. I don't know why.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you rent a table, it also comes with 2 general admission tickets.
Well, it's something that Alex and I have to think about, right? Alex?
Yes. What would we display though? Actually, we could do the show from the table.
Well, that's what we would do.
Yeah.
We would do.
You could do the show, break-ins, do the show. You could record, you'll have a ton of people to record of.
Well, let me know when you need to know by the exact, the deadline for that. Give me all the information on that, Keith. Just email it or just send it to me on Messenger.
All right, no problem.
And maybe we could try to work something out. I don't know. I'd love to. I mean, I know a lot of people down there for the show. It'd be pretty cool. And I mean, if we can work it out, you never know. It'd be great. And obviously, I could finally bring you your bottle of Jack.
You've only owned it to me for 10 years.
It hasn't been 10 years, has it?
Pretty close.
Pretty close, I know. Oh, well, but yeah, it sounds like a great time. And as you said, I mean, that's very affordable. Very affordable to check out all that and more. Yeah, that's awesome. Where do you go from there? Okay, you're working on the show. You're gearing up to work on that. You got the Mid-South, and we were talking, in Q there a little bit about finally you've been able to have a break. For the last couple of weeks. I mean, what do you do when you have some downtime?
I got 22 guitars sitting here in my face. I love photography. Finally getting to go out and do some, a lot of people go, man, you take great shots and stuff. And I'm like, going, well, what a lot of people don't know is I was a photography major.
So was I.
And
yeah.
I've always loved it,
and I've seen some of the photos, some great stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And, so my passion for that has come back in the last year or so I finally get to go out and do things like that. And try to slow down a little bit. The kids are grown now, and I actually go out and do things I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Got a girlfriend that likes doing things with me that I enjoy, so that's a nice little treat.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting there kicking the idea of also maybe helping a few of these small bands out that are really good, see if I can get them some more promotion and stuff. So always thinking of something to do.
And I mean, once in music, it's pretty much always in it. I mean, you never let it go. I mean, it's one of those things that's in your blood, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Who are some of musicians that sort of inspire you?
Oh Lord, anybody from the 70s, man. 70s is when it all exploded, and I lived through it. It's like who was I talking to the other day? Oh, we were talking about great 70s bands, and Queen came up, and I was like, I was lucky enough to see Freddie Mercury 3 times in concert with Queen, and I've seen him 2 other times without him, and it's a whole different ball game. But Queen, I loved Queen. Brian May is just a phenomenal guitar player, and there's a lot of good stuff out there now too. And I heard this band the other night called Planetary Overdrive, local band.
Yeah.
And it's just a little trio, but the drummer was phenomenal. The lead guitarist was hot, and the bass player just kept a decent groove and didn't overplay, didn't underplay, and it was just solid. So but the other bands that were with them sucked.
So they stood out.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And I mean, and they were the middle act, with the headliner coming out the end. I was like, I don't even care if I hear the headliner. This was the show.
These guys should be the headliners.
Oh yeah, and, some of them, there's anything I can do to help, bands like that out. I booked so many bands for years at different, events and stuff like that, and also the place I ran, and and people go, well, you've played with a lot of bands, and, and I'm still friends with like my buddies in the Kentucky Headhunters. And, I was talking to Frankie Banali the other day. God, we toured in the 80s. Frankie Banali from Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. If the ghost stuff finally peters out and I get tired of it, I'll always have music.
Speaking of relatively new bands and sort of, I think something that sort of fits in that mold that I think that you would probably be interested in. I believe they're out of California, a band called The Judge. They've really...
I've heard of them. I haven't heard any music yet, but I've heard of them. Yeah.
You know what? They're just incredible. I'll send you a link. Just really, really incredible stuff. I mean, you hear a lot of bands that sort of nowadays, again, sort of grasping back at the 70s and taking that influence and trying to further. And it's kind of hard because, I mean, a lot of it's been done 50 million times, but I don't know. This band, just something about them. I don't know what it is. Is it the sound? Well, yeah, it's the sound. Is it the vocals? It just, I don't know. Maybe you could pick it out. I don't know, because you've got a love for the 70s music as well.
You're calling me old.
Sorry?
You calling me old?
If I'm calling you old, then I must be old then too. Wait a sec, Alex. That means you're the youngin' here.
That I am.
Probably he says.
Of course. But you know what, Keith? It's been a great honor to have you back on, man. I mean, it's always a blast having you and just chatting. I mean, keep up the great work, man.
Oh, same here, man. You and I've been friends for a long time.
Yes.
And it's always great to catch up with you, man.
Yeah, we always enjoy having you here, and like I said, I'm sure when you get the TV show or whatever, in the can, and you want to talk about it or whatever, we'll definitely have you back on, and we could talk about that and more, obviously, in the near future. We'd certainly love to have you back.
Gotta get Robbie on.
We gotta have Robbie on, yeah. We'll have both of you guys on.
Sounds good.
And talk about it. So.
Sounds good.
Yes. Again, folks, check out the Mid-South Paranormal Convention there in Louisville, Kentucky, this July. We will definitely get all the links and everything else for those of you who are interested in grabbing tickets and seeing the lineup and everything else. Keith, get any other links out there for anyone who wants to get in touch with you?
Easiest way to do it is get hold of me on Facebook, and or get me through the Louisville Ghost Hunters website, LouisvilleGHS.com. Or if you want to order tickets for the paranormal tour that Robbie and I are on, and also be part of the filming and everything, you can go to robbiethomas.net to do that.
Awesome. My friend, you be well and take care, eh?
I will try. I said, keep the bottle flowing.
And we'll eventually get that jack and sit down and enjoy it.
Sounds good, brother.
All right.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Take care, Keith.
Right.
Take care,
All right. Thanks,
care.
Bye.
Take care. Always great to have Keith on.
Yeah.
Again, we'll get all the links there for people who are interested in the Mid-South Paranormal Convention there. Again, happening in July. Again, we'll get all the information out there on our new Facebook page. Again, www.facebook.com. Is it front or backslash? Front.
Just say slash.
Slash. Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Easy enough. Once again, if you are just mysteriously just tuning in, we had our good friend Keith Age on, who you've seen in a lot of documentaries and films like Spooked and Children of the Grave, to be a couple of those. He's been on a lot of TV shows up here in Canada. He was in an episode of Creepy Canada. Destination America he's been on. Yeah, he's been on all sorts of stuff. I've known Keith for quite a while, and you know what? You can't, I don't know if there's a more down-to-earth guy than Keith.
Yeah, he's pretty down-to-earth.
Yeah, extremely down-to-earth. So, like I said, always good to have him on, and we look forward to having him back on in the future again. Next week, I'm looking forward to next week's show, dude.
Yeah, Corpsewood. Should be good.
We're going to have author Dan Ellis on to talk about his book, Corpsewood. You've been reading it.
Yes, I have.
And what are your thoughts so far?
Well, the book itself is a good book. It's very well written. It didn't go as much into the what happened at the mansion itself.
Yeah.
Like I wish I had more details about that.
Yeah.
It's a lot about the who did what, like who killed the two men at the mansion and the police's chase after them, or basically that kind of stuff, and the trial itself. So I'm really anxious to have Dan Ellis on, just to ask him more questions about what actually transpired at Corpsewood prior to Joy Odom and Dr. Scudder being murdered.
Exactly. I mean, that's, the book, but yeah, there's so many intriguing aspects behind this and that surround it.
Yeah.
A lot of people who don't know about it, a lot of people say the area's haunted or there's some sort of supernatural paranormal aspects. If there is, I don't know. I mean, we don't know, but again, I know Dan will probably comment on that and more, the whole Satanism, Dr. What's his name again? Dr.
Scudder.
Scudder, sorry. His involvement with the Church of Satan, right?
Yeah, Church of Satan and basically the occult in general.
Exactly. So, I mean, you know what? When I stumbled upon this, I'm like, this is pretty interesting. And I remember listening to Dan in another interview on a different on a podcast there, and I was just really thoroughly intrigued with this case as a whole. Not just because of the true crime aspect, but everything else that surrounds it. I mean, there's so many aspects that play into this. I mean, I think this is going to be really cool.
Oh, I definitely will. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. And we had a guest suggestion in the new on the new page, and that's John Tunney, right?
That's right.
Which, you know what, we're going to do our damnedest, I think, to get John on the show, or at least try to make contact with him and perhaps have him on a future show, hopefully before we end this season. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it definitely will. Yeah, and I have to get in touch with Corvus as well, because I remember he said he would like to come on also in May. So
yes,
look forward to that as well.
Yes, we'll have to have Corvus back on. Another intriguing conversation. The first time we had him on the show was pretty cool, so it'd be pretty cool to have him back on.
Oh, for sure. And he's releasing a new anthology, which should be coming out shortly. And one of my short stories will also be on there as well.
I was just going to say, you have a short story attached to this new one as well, right?
That's correct, yes.
So that's cool. And do you know when that's being released?
I think he said some point at the end of either this month or May. I'll have to confirm with him. But he sent me a rough draft of the book itself.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to be shipping me a copy at some point this month. So hopefully it'll be available, I believe, through Dark Moon Press at some point in the end of April or May.
So that's cool. That'll be interesting. Oh man, you just gave me a downer there when you said Big Fat Burrito is now closed.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
trust me,
man.
You should have seen how I reacted when I saw it.
Because you actually went there thinking, oh man, I want a burrito and bang.
No, I know exactly.
What am I gonna do? What are we gonna do now? We don't have Big Fat Burrito.
Right, we're gonna have to go to Kensington Market,
which is not that far.
No, it's not.
But is it going to be as good as the one at Lee's Palace?
Only one way to find out.
I know, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
I'm sure it'll have the same, after effects.
Well, I'm sure it will, but, taste-wise, is it going to be at par, if not better?
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
So I wonder why they closed.
To be honest with you, I don't know. It seemed to be doing okay. There was always somebody there, at least. I guess
the only thing I can guess is it's just small, and there was nowhere to eat there.
That was one big problem, especially in the wintertime more so, because in the summertime, a lot of people could have just bought one to go and eaten it on the go, sort of thing, right? Or just go sit on one of the benches along Bloor Street and just eat there.
Did you see anything online about it or anything?
No, I was on Bloor Street on Friday.
Yeah.
To meet up with a friend of mine, and that's when I noticed that Big Fat Burrito was gone. It's been replaced by some other Mexican thing. I think it's called Rancho Relaxo, if I'm not mistaken. So,
no, Rancho Relaxo.
I don't know how keen I'd be to go in there with a name like that, but anyway.
Yes, relax after eating. Yeah,
that's the last thing you do after eating Mexican food.
A misnomer, yeah. That's just completely crazy. Rancho Relaxo.
You didn't know where that name came from?
Where?
Well, The Simpsons had an episode where I think Marge or both Marge and Homer go to a place called Rancho Relaxo.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that these...
Is that where they got it from?
I'm pretty sure. Where else would you get a name like that from?
Yeah, well, yeah, it makes sense. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe when we have when we're gone for our summer hiatus, or even before, I don't know. Maybe we can look into maybe possibly doing finally getting Nocturnal Night Shots 3 in the can.
Sure.
I mean, if there's
something,
yeah, it's been a while. If there's something that we could sort of put together really quickly or whatever else, and that might interest you guys, I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility as well. So, yeah, because I keep getting likes on the page, on the Facebook page. So I don't know. People are actually looking at it, but they're going, well, these guys are supposed to get the third episode out, but I don't see anything new.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we'll eventually get it out there. Eventually.
I mean, you really want to see our ugly mugs.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's about quality, not quantity, right?
This is true.
I mean, we try to, the first one was, based on, my experience that I had. But the second one was based on a location that, both of us, experienced. I mean, Alex has been there. And, you know what? Talking about that, the land, it was actually sold.
Oh, it was? To who?
That I don't know. But then when I went to go check it again, I guess it wasn't sold because now it's still for sale.
Huh.
Which is
maybe
weird.
the buyers backed out.
I'm thinking that's what the...
They may have seen our Nocturnal Night Shots episode 2.
Well, what's stopping them from dozing the place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But they can doze the place all they want. Is what are they going to build on top of it that will haunt them?
That's right.
Right, exactly. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. You've listened to Nocturnal Frequency Radio here, live exclusively on the New Visions Radio Network. And again, I want to thank our good friend Keith Age for coming on this evening. Once again, we will get all the information about the Mid-South and Keith on our new Facebook page. Again, Nocturnal Frequency. Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Facebook.com/Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Or just go in the search box and type in Nocturnal Frequency Radio and look for the page, not the group. The group is eventually going to wane out, and we want to bring everybody over to the page. So, guys, talk to us, communicate with us, let us know all about what you guys want to hear on the show, guests, topics, and all that wonderful stuff there on the page. All right?
Like the address, the Big Fat Burrito.
Exactly. Until next weekend, once again, we're going to have Dan Ellis on to talk about Corpsewood. Looking forward to that. And you guys have a good week.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, Alex.
Bye.
Night.